this is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your energetic reading for Mercury moving into Sagittarius today. Well, so you know that when an energy source, a big energy source, such as a personal planet, moves into a different energy, I like to cover it via your sun, moon, and rising signs so that you understand how it's going to personally affect you. So I want to tell you a little bit about this energy source moving into Sagittarius, and then I'll go forward and tell you how it affects you personally. So Mercury in Sagittarius is a very optimistic way of thinking. It opens your mind. It broadens your perspective. Your day-to-day thinking is going to change. You are going to have this incredible thirst for knowledge in the reality of your situation on a day-to-day level. This is about, you're very enthusiastic and optimistic. You have a strong vision for the future. This is about moving forward. It's about clarity and decision making. It's about making a decision and then moving forward energetically with the tenacity of a fixed energy and fire energy to move forward. It's also highly adaptable energy. So once you put your mind on something and you lock and load on it, you will move forward with it. But up till then, it's about weighing out perspectives, looking at it from a broad way of thinking. It's about being able to absorb information from multiple sources, and you will have some time of being indecisive, but that is as you are interpreting information, the way that you think evolves. And I think that's the key word in this energy. It's evolution of thinking. And so as you're moving forward, this is very invigorating, right? This is very, when you are optimistic and you have cleansing Chiron and you have Piscean energy in here, this is about taking in, look, you have 12 houses. Everybody has 12 houses, and they have planets in 12 houses, and they have 12 signs in 12 houses, right? And so that's a lot of things that you've got to consider. You have your whole bottom part of your chart, which is how you grew up, and then you have the top part of your chart is how you're going to move forward. So understand there's a big picture to the way that you're thinking. You're not just thinking on this. Okay, if you were thinking on a Gemini level, it's immediate needs, right? It's immediate gratification needs. If you're thinking on a ninth house level, on this Sagittarian level, you're thinking about broad and opening up yourself, interpreting data, looking at things from large perspectives, looking at cultural groups, looking at how other people do things. You will have an insatiable need to research out what you're going to do forward before making decisions. You're very mutable. You're very energetic in this level. And this is about freedom to think like this. This is about taking yourself from an oppressive thought process and broadening and opening yourself up. Love this energy, very complementary to Chiron in Pisces and Neptune in Pisces and this moon in Pisces that we have going on. Love this energy. So let's get started with how this is going to affect your sun, your moon, and your rising sign. Hi Scorpios, this is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your energetic reading for Mercury moving into Sagittarius. So for you, everything is going to be happening in your second house. And the second house is about how you receive recognition. And recognition can come from a variety of ways. It can come from your peers. It can come from work. It can come from creative outlets, right? A recognition of creative forms of creative expression. It can also come from yourself, right? Recognition of your own achievements. And so for many of you, you're going to be asking yourself, what do you value? Who do you value? What do you want moving forward in this energy? As Mercury goes into Sagittarius, and Saturn is in Sagittarius, it's really opening your perspective to what you want in life. This is no longer a limiting belief system. This is keeping yourself open to the possibility of expansion and opportunity. So at Mars, your ruler, is going to be in Libra, sitting in the 12th house. And it is going to be conjunct with Venus in Libra, which is also in the 12th house. So you are doing, okay, so you're looking at your relationships. Relationship is a big word, right? Relationship is the relationship we have with oneself. If you are not currently in a relationship, or what are you're asking yourself, how healthy have my relationships with partners been if you are not in a relationship? If you're wanting to move forward and you're wanting to pursue relationships, what did you learn from these karmic relationships? What did you learn from relationships in your past? And then how do you take that knowledge and move forward in strong, healthy, rich relationships? Also, what this means is that you'll be asking yourself like if you have a work relationship, many of us, our relationships are our work relationships. We're at work, 10, 12 hours a day, some of us. And so we align ourselves with the people we work with often. And so we're going to be evaluating how they see us. Also, we could be in relationship with some creative endeavor that really defines us, that really ignites our passion, that really makes us want to take a look at ourselves at that level. So Mars is conjunct with Venus. It's going to sextile Mercury and sextile Saturn, and it's going to square off with Pluto. So I just want to talk about Mars, and we'll talk about your other ruler. Man, you are complex. I miss the days where I'm like, I don't got nothing to say to you guys because you guys are all like training out, but not anymore. This is about looking at the big picture. This is about moving forward. This is about a thirst for something different. This, as you went through this alignment in desire, right, with your core and the way that you think, really, honestly, it actually added, you had some embers, but now you've thrown some nice dry wood on it, and it's really ignited a flame within you. So you're really thinking about stoking that flame at this point. You really want to open yourself up to more of that energy that really, once you bid on it a little bit, you'll want a little bit more. So this has also then got you, it's also had you reflect on, what do you want? What do you deeply value? I know the one thing that I value, love. If I'm honest, I don't believe in it anymore because I've had such terrible relationships. But what do I want more than anything? If I were super truthful, and if I had an idealistic view of life, and I had all this Sagittarian, let's have fun, let's just not think about ramifications, let's just go have a good time, it would all be love for me. So it's going to be asking you, what do you value? Because that's the one thing I value. I don't value money. I don't value cars, prestige. I value love. I value family. And so you're going to be asking yourself that question. And when that happens, you may be surprised on the answers that you start to give yourself. Maybe some of you, that is a love for oneself. Maybe for some of you, what you value is the relationship that you've built with yourself, and you don't know if you want to give that up because you are starting to feel so internally strong and aligned with your life that you don't know if you want to add anybody right now, because moving forward with yourself, you're wanting to nurture that relationship. It can be very revealing. Conversations with others, especially if they open you up to new perspectives, even if it's in a debatable form, welcome it. Welcome their perspectives. Challenge this 12th house area. Challenge the area where You've stuffed everything. If you have conversations right now, you may find that some of the stuff that you stuffed, you shouldn't have been stuffing away. You were at that point, okay, so what happens is we stuff stuff we can't handle in our subconscious. And then when we have processed our life and have gotten to the point to where our psychology can handle it, our mental capacity can handle it, that's when we start to address our subconscious areas in our mind where we have suppressed certain things until now. So like, I know certain terrible memories came out when I was like 35. When I really addressed them, they were super painful, but I was also, they had been so many years ago that when I really acknowledged them, I just got pissed and wanted to hold people accountable. I wasn't sad about it. I wasn't hurt. It wasn't devastating. I just wanted to go kick some ass. So you could be feeling that kind of feeling. It's like maybe you idealized relationships, and then when it came out, it's like all you idealized was a jerk who was a narcissist, and you idealized the facade. So you could acknowledge that, and that of course could make you all Scorpio out. And that brings me to the second energy with you, which is the Plutonian and Capricorn. Now that is the energy that is squaring off. It's squaring off with Uranus and Aries, and it's squaring off with Mars and Venus, and it's trining Jupiter. So to me, this suggests that it's not about, at this point in your life, it's not about hopes, dreams, wishes, because there's something else going on. There's something that is very much on the forefront. It's very superficial in your life. It's not 12th house. But it could align with some of this 12th house, work as well. Once you put 2 and 2 together, once this Mercury Scorpio energy really dredges up all this stuff, you could see a similarity in these energies and how they complement each other as far as in your thought process. So you could have a moment where you need to take a look at things and really weigh things out. You can be very indecisive in this energy because there's something that is caught your attention, and it is very revealing to you. And so you're not really willing to make a decision at this point, but you really need to think through what was revealed to you. And I really deeply believe that this has to do with something that you stuffed about a partnership, something that you suppressed, something that even maybe you don't even know you suppressed. Maybe it's a realization of something that you suppressed. And so it could be that. Understand that the moon right now is in conjunct with Pisces. And so when I see a moon like this, I see it as I see it as ice cold glacier water. You drink it in, it's full of minerals, full of really good, clean water flushing you out. Whatever bubbles to the surface, whatever's revealed to you, understand that the point of all of it is to cleanse your subconscious of debris, of places where you block your energy. So this is a process, and it is a slow process. It's a revelation. So I think at some point during this process, you're going to understand that there's some psychological work that needs to be done after all this. This is a place where you were very protective of. In your mind protected you from. And so it is about allowing Chiron to go in here. I always encourage everybody to know where your wound is, where Chiron is, because you're going to know where that psychological wound that won't heal is. And this can really open you up to, if you do a lot of research on Chiron and where Chiron's placement is, then you're going to understand how this coincides with this event. Anyhow, guys, thank you so much for watching Annette's Astrology Corner, and I look forward to talking to you guys again on the next astrological event. Hi Sagittarius, this is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your energetic reading for Mercury moving into Sagittarius. Now, for you, all this is going to be happening in your first house, and your ruler is in your 10th house. And it is in opposition with the moon, opposition with Chiron, both conjunct, and trining Pluto and Capricorn. What does this mean for you? Okay, so let's talk about the astrological side. So, when Mercury comes into our lives, it really asks us to assess our day-to-day thinking, the rituals that we have, the way that we process our environment, the way that we process our lives on a day-to-day level, right? It's very superficial thinking. It is just the methodical way that we move through our existence on a day-to-day level. And, but it then elevates us to think more, elevate our thinking about our existence on a day-to-day level, right? We don't just exist on a day-to-day level with moments here and there that elevate us. Every moment, every day elevates our thinking. Every day adds to experience, more and more life experience. You know, it's like when you go to school, and you get that first job, and that first job then leads to the second job, then leads to the third job, and establishes your career as you're moving forward through life. That is the way our day-to-day thinking, although we don't value our day-to-day thinking quite to that degree, which we should, because every life experience, every conversation, every challenge adds more wisdom to us as we progress. So for you, with this happening in the first house and your ruler being in Virgo in your 10th house, now this is about asking you to set goals moving forward. Are you on a daily basis aligning yourself with how you want to move forward? There is something in your life to me that suggests that there is opposition in the way that you feel about how your life is progressing. You know, Pisces is a very feeling energy. It's a very psychic energy. It's a very intuitive energy. And my gut reaction from taking a look at this is telling me that since it's in opposition, sorry, I had to shift my knee. It was killing me. So something tells me that the way that you're living your life on a day-to-day level is not directly aligned with your purpose because you're having opposition about it. Now, this isn't, I mean, I deeply think that you feel valuable. I think you feel aligned. I think you know what you want. But going after what you want is a different story when you have Pluto trining this energy. Because that doesn't give us a lot. You may be at a plateau in momentum with a particular subject, especially if you're dealing with an emotional issue. You're not so much thinking about the direction of your life as this emotional issue that is looming and pending at this moment. And especially this looming issue has to do with a wound, an emotional insecurity, a vulnerability, a fear is really overwhelming this process. So it's really challenging your ability to go, okay, so when you have an emotional issue to this degree, and then you have to still go through your life and process your life and engage in your life and remove yourself from this emotional situation. Usually that's not a problem with you, but this is particularly cumbersome, this particular emotional issue. So this is, you are aligned with valuing yourself to do it. However, you're lacking the momentum at this point. So this leads me to believe that you really honestly are frustrated about working really hard at something, but not getting anywhere with it, or not getting the result that you want with it. You're just frustrated right now. And, you know, you had some heavy decisions to make. You tried to make the best decision that you could, and you thought that it would align, but something has happened in your life that has made you fearful or overreactive to this issue. So, when you get this way, you become very difficult and impatient, and you exaggerate a lot of what you're feeling, and you become super argumentative and blunt. And that's because there's a vulnerability that you're feeling from deep within at this point. So people aren't going to get a really good perspective of how you are outwardly if they're interacting with you right now, because there is something that is you're emotionally dealing with. And this is a deep vulnerability. Now, anytime we're dealing with the moon being in conjunct with Chiron, this is about washing and healing you. This is about the purest water flowing through you and cleansing that wound, right? Whatever wound this is a reopening of a wound. For many of us, we're dealing with a sensitive wound that has healed wrong, or maybe isn't quite healed. For you, I feel like this wound is I think it's healed, but it's superficial, and you're still dealing with it, and you're really trying to find a positive outcome. Some of you, this is a legal issue. I see that you're looking for a just outcome, and you're looking for fairness to be in this. You know, you're frustrated because, you know, you were indecisive about something, and you procrastinated possibly about making a decision. And because it was deeply emotional to make this decision, there was much to ponder, and I don't think you felt like you had enough time to fully think this through. And I think what happened is you had to, you're not used to feeling vulnerable. You know, you're not used to feeling like this. You're used to feeling in control of your life, and this vulnerability is very challenging in this particular energy. You know, this is very discouraging for you, I feel. And I feel like you're trying to find the reason behind it because you think on that level. And you just may need to take, you know, just to step back. Don't involve yourself in other people's perspectives right now, and allow yourself to be vulnerable in this energy. And really, honestly, I want to say that there's much to think about. This is an introspective time. You know, when the moon is in Pisces, it's in a house where all energy dumps into. And so there's a lot to decipher. It can be very foggy, confusing energy, especially if it's an opposition. And there can be a lot that needs to be revealed. And so I think you're just waiting. You're waiting on a decision. I don't even think that this decision has much to do with you. What I think you're doing is, while you're waiting for this decision to be made, you're trying to counterbalance it with, what do I do if this doesn't go my way? I feel that way. And so you're in plan B mode. You're taking a look at it, and you're like, okay, I want to make sure that I have something to say if this doesn't go on my way. Whew, that's the way I feel about it. Whatever it is, it's something to do with something you feel very, very, very close to, very compassionate about. It gets to your heart. It's about something, honestly, that you deeply desire. It could also be a change in direction in your career, life path, destiny. It can make you rethink whatever happened. challenged your life in some way that may make you rethink your career life path destiny and make it be more conservative and more acceptable to collective thinking, so that you can get back what was askew in your life in some way. Very confusing energy. It's Pisces energy, and Pisces energy, it can be very confusing, especially when it's in all this mutable Sagittarian energy. And there's a lot of information coming in for me. And to me, you're not in control of a decision. Somebody else is in control of a decision right now, and you're waiting on it. And it seems to me like you have to have a backup plan or plan B, or you have to maybe make a decision. You have to really think through something, like you have to counteract something. If you have to quickly counteract it, what can you do to do it? You have to be able to, it's like you have to be snappy and decisive in indecisive energy, and that's kind of unsettling for you right now. I don't know what it means. Thank you so much for watching Annette's Astrology Corner, and I look forward to talking to you guys again on the next astrological event. Hi Capricorn, this is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your energetic reading for Mercury moving into Sagittarius. And for you, all of this is going to be happening in your 12th house. Now, at the time of this event, Saturn is going to be in Sagittarius, your ruler, and it is going to be conjunct with Mercury in Sagittarius and the Sun in Scorpio, and it's going to be squaring off with Neptune in Pisces. So we are talking about really big questions during this event. You can't get, well, of course, this is a very broad thinking energy. Look, normally Mercury in energy can really help us process our environment on a day-to-day level. Like if it was in Gemini energy, we would be thinking about our day-to-day routines. But Mercury being in Sagittarius means that we're not just thinking about our life on a day-to-day level, but we're looking at what we're doing in our lives on a day-to-day level that help us reach ultimate goals, big goals, right? And are we really honestly, to the best of our abilities, making each day count? Making each moment of our lives something that elevates our thinking. Every single day, we add life experience to our belt. Every day. I don't care if it's just we do the same dead-end job day after day. Every day adds another day to that skill. And so you're thinking about where you're putting your energy on a day-to-day level and how you're processing it and what you're taking away from it, right? What is it doing to help you out in your life? Now, also in this energy, it's also about not only taking a look at it at that level, but also thinking, what am I doing to get myself to the next level in life, in my hopes, my dreams, and my wishes? Because the sun, your desire, your soul, at the time of this event, is in the 11th house, which is in that hopes, dreams, and wishes area. And so you really want to see, are you moving in the right direction? Many of you, I feel, have created you may have gotten a little monotonous in your routines, right? You may have, the routines that you're creating may not be moving you forward. So you get a little energy bolt in here that says, wait up, hold up, you're not really reaching potential here. You are moving along day to day, but sometimes in this energy you can get a little slow, and you can get you're not as stimulated to want to make that push to get you to that next level. So this energy will come in and add a little heat and desire and momentum to this need to want to change your life. Now, also, this is also a house where we're very vulnerable in energy. We have a lot of the 12th house in your ruler is allowing you to get some control over areas in your life where in the past you may have suffered internally from. It's stuff that, or maybe you've got caught in these routines, and these routines you kind of almost suffer an energy loss from. They're not, it doesn't align with you. And so what you do is stuff what you desire, right? You stuff what you need for a process, for the outcome. And so you have many things in this closet where you have stuffed what you wanted, but you haven't faced what you deeply desire. And so you may feel some of that come out in this energy. And I want to say that it's not terrible energy, because as you get this realization as to what you deeply desire and what you deserve and what you want, then it puts a fire in your belly to go get it. And then, of course, once you fixate on something, you're just going to go out and freaking get it all over. But also, this is a time of confronting the fact that you can stand in your own way at times. This is a time to acknowledge the fact that there could be some blocks in energy that prevent you from moving forward, some repressed, hidden stuff that you may not totally know about. You may not totally understand why you're not persevering at this point, or why you're not moving forward, why you're feeling frustrated. You can't quite put your finger on it because there's all this 12th house work going on. And as this stuff comes to the surface, it'll start to reveal what the heck all the stuff meant to begin with. So this is about personal growth and spiritual growth at this time. And this is about really honestly cleansing yourself from this area in your life where you may block yourself from progression, where you may sabotage your own desires, your need for emotional fulfillment in these areas, because you're so busy looking at the outcome that you're not looking at what you deeply desire on an emotional level. So on an energetic side, when you were young, I think this goes back to your childhood, or when you were young, or when you were like teenage years, and you walked away from wants and desires, and you stuffed them away because in the past it meant fighting, it meant standing up, it meant trial after trial to try to get people to recognize what you need emotionally. And so for some of you, this could be bringing forth all of this again during this 12th house work. And I think there's some pieces to this puzzle you haven't actually put together. So to me, when I'm feeling this energy, I'm feeling like I don't have all the information. I'm feeling like as you go through this transit, there's something that you will reveal to yourself, either a repressed memory or a hidden agenda that even you hide from yourself. And the stark realization of it could then set some things in motion to make you want to walk away from this emotional turmoil, or to make you overcome it. I think there's a need for you to take a look at a brighter future, a more expansive side of this, the broader, what this meant in the broad spectrum. Look, we all have childhoods, and we all have things that we experience. And as we go through some of these issues, they really honestly do set the tone for us moving forward. But I believe that your past, I guess initially this childhood drama that you used to go through, but I really honestly believe that there's some knowledge about an old fight, an old mindset, where you were once hopeful and you once had all this optimism, but I think you just suppressed it in like an emotional area where you're like, I'm never going to have it, stick it here. I'm never going to have it, stick it here. I'm never going to have it, stick it here. And for some reason, it's coming forward now. Hopefully that's through some really good counseling. That's through talking to a partner about what's going on. That's to all of this behind the scenes work that you've been doing a lot lately. You've been really balancing that need to please partner and please self and please work, and maybe that's where the strain lies. Maybe you had a nurturing energy in your life, you know, perhaps a mother who honestly could not do that, and so you're trying to do that in your life, and at some points you feel a stress to maybe not being able to do it. Whatever it is, Chiron's going to go and clear all this out. To me, there's just something that it's like as soon as you unlock whatever this is and you clean this out, that is when your world opens up. That's when that final opportunity opens up to really unleash potential. But I really believe that there's just a little stopper here, an obstacle that is in control of an outcome right now that you really have to overcome. I don't know why you feel that, but anyhow, guys, thank you so much for watching Annette's Astrology Corner, and I look forward to talking to you guys again on the next astrological event. Hi, this is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your energetic reading, dear Aquarius, for Mercury moving into Sagittarius. And for you, all of this is going to be happening in your 11th house. Now, the 11th house is a beautiful house. It's hopes, dreams, wishes. It's about friendships, networking, and it's about the way that you interact with the world, how you get out there, what you do to put your best face forward in energy and, you know, promote yourself essentially. And the reason I say that is because we have all of this Mercury energy as well out there stimulating you to be a person who looks super marketable, looks interactive, looks fun to be around, looks optimistic. I mean, I think you genuinely have a very optimistic glow about you if others were to observe you. Now, when you are in your life and you are out there, and you are interacting with your friends, it's almost like you're a different person than you are in your partnerships. I want to say that when you're out there and you're organizing and you're involved in your life, in the path that you're taking, I want to say that you're really hopeful, optimistic, and energized for it. But there is something in your life that I think that is festering that I think you want to get control over. I think you want to make a change in it. And I really think that you're trying to find a way to resolve some situations in it. So I think there are two definite sides to you. It can be very confusing for people to know. You seem so outwardly confident, yet there's some stuff brewing from deep within on this Scorpio sun of yours probably that is really honestly challenging you to make some big decisions and to think things through and to align your life. So Uranus in Aries, your ruler, is going to be in the 3rd house. And the 3rd house has to do with communication. How you're processing your environment, thinking your environment through. This is on a day-to-day level. So I don't think we're talking about your life on a level of out there in your day-to-day routines when you're in your job or when you're organizing events or when you're interacting with friends in social media. I think you have that part pretty secure. What I think it boils down to is sharing and communicating effectively with somebody in your life that is very dear to you, that it's challenging you. It's challenging your communication skills. It's broadening the way that you talk to somebody. And it's opening you up to actually what you need like a whole different thought process, which can be super frustrating when you're dealing with it. It can be very challenging. It can be mentally draining to deal with this. But as you do this, it will certainly open you up to expansion. It will transform the way that you interact with others. Now, Uranus is quincunxing Jupiter in Virgo. It is squaring off with Pluto in Capricorn, and it is in opposition with Venus in Libra. So so there's an opposition in a partnership, and it is really challenging the way that you interpret what is really going on. So you're probing further for answers, and you're trying to grasp their way of thinking, or the concept of how their mind thinks. And that's very frustrating for you. It's very frustrating anytime you work in this realm. Now, what we're dealing with on this level is we're dealing with the fact that it's almost like there's a power issue when you're doing this. It's like you want your right, and so you want that stand to be acknowledged, right? You want to know that you're right. But I want to challenge the fact that right is a really weird and very loose term for me. There really honestly is no right. There's no right, and there's no absolute definite wrong. Because between right and wrong is thought, is perception, is interpreting the situation. So there are guidelines that everybody follows that's right and wrong, right? And as you know, as you've talked with people, you have a definite, this is right, this is the right way to do it, and you can force that opinion on people, but where does that get you? You know, where does that get you in the grand scheme of communication? It doesn't get you anywhere. You know, you could be 100% right and back it up with facts, but if you're talking to somebody who either doesn't validate those facts, or doesn't validate the sources that you're getting the information from, or doesn't even validate you as a person, then doesn't that make it super hard for you to be able to feel that you're genuinely right? It can confuse what is right and what is wrong. This is when I think it's kind of helpful to have all of this going on in the 11th house, because friends are a great source of mental relief, because sometimes when you're getting confused by this conversation, you can go to a friend, or go to a sibling, go to a family member, and you can ask them, or a neighbor, and you can say, God, what do you think about this? I mean, am I seeing this wrong? What's going on here? And when you do this, it opens your mind up to other opinion and other perspectives, and then you can kind of understand where how they would interpret that information. So this is very psychological, and it's very frustrating. It's frustrating when you're taking in psychology because I definitely feel cheating is wrong, right? But if you're dealing with somebody who is, a narcissist who is mentally ill, then how can cheating be wrong? Because they don't value loyalty the way that normal people do. They're more people with that personality disorder values sources of supply for them to get fed off from. They don't love in the same way that we do. And that's one way it's an example, but it's a very good one. And it deals with taking into account the psychology of what you're dealing with. So there may be somebody in your life that you're having to take in their psychology and the way that they were raised and the environment that they grew up in for you to be able to communicate effectively with them. Now, through all of this, you're getting expansion, right? Anytime you're dealing with the word gray, you know, there's black and there's white thinking, but there's a big gray way of thinking that a lot of the world works in. But as an Aquarian, you don't. You deal with black and white thinking, right and wrong, borders, boundaries. You are very firm. You're very controlled in these areas. Now, that's not to say that you can't have some unpredictable spurts of going outside your boundaries, which makes you kind of freaking engaging and fun. But for the most part, you're very regimented in certain areas in your life, but this can open you up and broaden your perspective. So perhaps there's somebody in your life that is really opening you up and making you and challenging this perspective. And that can be frustrating. Now, we have Saturn in Sagittarius, and it is conjunct with Mercury in Sagittarius and the Sun in Scorpio. And so while you're dealing with this, right, this huge issue, you're also having to figure out, is your life path destiny aligning with your hopes, dreams, and wishes? And are the friends that you surround yourself with, are the partnerships that you're forming, are your perceptions all clear, and are they aligned with your authentic self? Big stuff, guys. Big stuff. I don't envy you. I know why you've been going through a lot of the quincunxes and the alarming energy that you have been feeling. And I really do feel deeply for some of the challenging aspects that I see. But I see all of this opening you up and broadening your perspectives to something new and forward and out there. Don't let this rock you. This is all helping you develop into the healing beings that you are, because as soon as you can understand the way that somebody thinks, then you can understand how to heal and help them and bring them to the light and help them overcome whatever it is they're dealing with. And I know that deeply you have these charitable causes and these charitable feelings toward people. And I believe that's why so many people don't take you right, and they believe, oh, you're just this ego-based person that's just telling everybody what to do, but really you're just trying to guide them. Anyhow, guys, thank you so much for watching Annette's Astrology Corner, and I look forward to talking to you guys again on the next astrological event. Hi, Pisces, this is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your energetic reading for Mercury moving into Sagittarius. And for you, this is going to be happening in your 10th house. So your 10th house represents your career, life path, destiny. And so this is actually where you manifest your potential. And this is where you set both personal and professional goals for yourself. And this is where you set the guidelines that you live your life by. And right now, your ruler, Neptune in Pisces, is going to be conjunct with Chiron in Pisces. So I want to talk a little bit about this because this is a really big deal. So wherever Neptune is in your chart is where your delusions lie. It's where you create the illusion, or where you wear rose-colored glasses. This is a super important part for you to know. It's where you get lost in your dreams, your hopes. It's where you create your desires. And it's where you really honestly have no limitations that you feel, because your imagination, that's where your imagination is the most active. It's also where you can actually generate some of your most creative thinking from. So it's important to know where that is, because that will align you with your career, life path, destiny if you're trying to find the direction that you need to go in life. Also, with Chiron conjunct at the same time and the moon in Pisces, and the sun in Scorpio conjunct with this event for you, conjunct with Mercury in Sagittarius. This is all a lot of energy out there in water, cleansing, purified water. wherever Chiron is, that is where your wounds are. And so you need to figure out where that is, because that's where that deep wound that you're always, that empty area that you're always going to try to fill. You could fill it in a positive way, or you could fill it in a negative way. Filling it in a positive way is allowing that to give you emotional momentum to fill that area with as much desire and emotional momentum as you can to get whatever it is that you feel like you're missing. Another way that this can go in the lower part of this energy, which is I'm going to feel like you might struggle with a little bit, is the realization of just how deep this wound goes. The fact that this wound will probably never completely heal, and that it will be an area where you have an empty nest, or you have an area where you need to take a look at. So a lot of times when the revelation of wherever this wound is, or the realization that the fact that wound never totally heals, can cause you to want to escape from it. And unfortunately, being Piscean, because Neptune rules addiction and it rules escapism, it can cause you to want to go into poor coping methods. And so I often see when these deep wounds are revealed, there's a need to emotionally withdraw from them and to create illusion or delusion in that area. So for you, this is about aligning yourself. Okay, so what we're doing is we're taking a look at our day-to-day and the way that we think about and interpret our day-to-day life in our environment and what we're doing in our life. And then we're opening it up to Sagittarian energy. And when we open anything up to Sagittarian energy, we're opening ourselves up to looking at it on a broader scale. So if there's a question that we have, we feel an innate need to understand it, deeply understand it. And sometimes what that can be is through very, very challenging aspects. So we've got Saturn in here squaring off with Neptune and Chiron. And we've got Mercury in here in Sagittarius squaring off with Neptune and with Neptune and Chiron. And then we have the Sun in Scorpio squaring off with these energies. And so what this is saying to me is that you have a really big question about how you're moving forward in life. Now, for some of you, this could be something having to do with your father. This could be something having to do with that masculine energy, that authority figure that you had in your life. It could be an authority figure that you currently have in your life that you've adopted as a mentor. Whatever it is, it's how are you relating to that authority figure? What wounds did that authority figure cause? What poor coping methods did you adapt and pull into your life? What realizations do you have? What blocks and energy did that person create? And I'm not talking about on a negative level. This person could have been wasn't even aware that you patterned your life after them. You're in a highly immutable energy. It could have been just through observation of seeing some success that your father had. And so the way that you saw him cope or the way you saw him succeed, you molded your life to, you blended it to. And so that inadvertently caused you to do some of the same things that he does in his life, good and bad. So it's worth taking a look at. Also, what's worth taking a look at is how do you maintain your momentum for things? What does it for you? Is it through conversations with others? Is it through an internal desire within inside of yourself? Are you aligned, or are you doing what people tell you to do? Is that the direction that you're going? And if so, they could have hidden agendas. And this is the energy of revealing agendas. Or you could have seen that about somebody, that you could have saw that they had a hidden agenda. And so now it's time to move out on your own. But before you do that, you've got to figure out what it is you want, what direction you're going. very frustrating questions when you're dealing with this. It has to do with psychology and philosophy, and this has to do with the fact that we're looking at expanding our lives. And when you're in this expansive Jupiter energy, there is no boundaries. The boundaries are for you personally. It depends on where Jupiter lies in your chart. So, you know, you really could just be searching for answers at this point. And there seems to be a strong desire for it. Now, if I'm looking at this from on an energetic level, you know, I feel like your love life is going really well, but I feel like emotionally there's something that pulls at your sweet little heart. And maybe there was I feel like there was a loss. And so I think at night you think about this loss. And this loss, I think the way that you're moving forward right now is just full steam ahead, and you're not thinking about the ramifications of it. Because you're trying to fill up your cup, and so I think there's a loss. There's something that you're missing. There's something that's causing anxiety, causing remorse, causing guilt, causing sadness. And so to fill your cup up, you're either literally filling your cup up and drinking, or you're moving full steam ahead, and you're just wanting to fix it. You're wanting to fix it, and you're not thinking about what you're doing. I don't feel there's a lot of balance in what you're doing. I think once you try to make the decision, I think what happens is it knocks you out of alignment. And so I really honestly believe that, this is just a personal journey with you. I mean, of course, we have all this Chiron and Pisces and 12th house, you know, Neptune in Pisces in your first house. And this is all about really honestly asking you some really emotional questions. And I think at night is when you feel the most remorse about this. I think when you're moving forward in your day, I think you're fine. Your day-to-day thinking, I think it's when you're really looking back at the lessons that you've learned and where you're at right now. And I think you're just feeling a little lost and a little confused. And this is to totally be expected. We're in mutable energy. We're in energy sources that are changing. It's molding us. It's making us adapt and be strong. I think for the most part, you're in a good place, but I think it's this night when there's something that pulls at you, and you know, and this could be that wound that won't heal. You know, that Chiron needs to go in there and pour some really purified energy in there and really help you out through this, because, you know, there's something, don't you worry, this can turn around. We're in, like I said, in any energy we're in, when a transit starts, it's not where it ends. So it's the revelation process. It's that newness, that seed of, this is what I'm dealing with. And by the time you're done with it, you've worked through it. This is just a working through of the energy. Anyhow, guys, thank you so much for watching Annette's Astrology Corner. And I look forward to talking to you guys again on the next astrological event.